Hi guys, and welcome or welcome back. Today we're continuing looking at what rooms and closet space tells you about your Sims. So the first room I want to show you is the room that I created for someone who travels a lot. So I made this a stylish, comforting, calm space where a Sim who travels can relax when they get back home. And I like to imagine that they bring art and other things that they buy or find on their travels back here, and that is kind of the deco that they have in their room. And then of course I've added these shelves over here that also look like they have something from far away, as well as space to add some more things, and a bag from their travels, their suitcase, luggage, some posters. And then when it comes to the closet space, I've decided over here to make a triangular walk-in cupboard, which I've used the one entire corner of the room for. And if we check inside what I've done here, I've kept it very clean cut because it seems like this Sim would be very neat. And I've placed some clothing rails over here, an area where they can hang a scarf and a bag, a mirror. And then, of course, because we want it to be functional, I've also added some actual cupboards inside where they can really change their outfit. And the only thing that you have to be on the lookout for when you do something like this is to leave enough space. So this first one over here might not be functional because I think the wall is coming too close to it, but the second one definitely is. So you just click on here when you want your Sim to actually change their outfit. I've also added an area where they can hang a coat and a hat. So yeah, this is what I've come up with for this bedroom, and I feel that the neat cupboard, organized cupboard, basically fits with the style of the room for this. So the next one that I want us to look at is a room that I've made for a scientist or someone who's into stargazing, and you can see that it's more of a minimalistic type room. The color scheme is very modern, black, white, and gray, and they have a big window from which they can search the skies and look through their telescope. And because there's some floral details in the room, I think that this would be perfect for a female Sim, or perhaps a married couple. There's definitely some female touches in this room, I would say. And this could even be a little family photo. Maybe it's a young married couple, but definitely someone who has details in the room that kind of show that it is a room with character, but at the same time it's not overly cluttered. Then what I wanted to show you with closet space over here is you can actually add a dressing area in a bathroom. So I've added them a very luxurious bathroom, or the Sim a very luxurious bathroom. It fits the color scheme. It also has some plants which fit someone who loves nature's interests. And I've made it very luxurious and modern. And then over here, I've added 2 wardrobes that can be used to kind of simulate that this is the dressing area for the sim or these sims, and also a bag that can be used. So it's very clean cut, it's not cluttered, but there is some details at the same time that just make it still feel lived in. So that's our second option. Then our third option, I've added some deco sims just to give it a little bit of life. So this would be a bedroom in a very well-off family home. So here we have even got some little chandeliers in this bedroom. It's got a very big size. It's in a blue and warm wooden tone. And I've done 2 things with closet space over here. The first thing I wanted to show you was that you can combine your wardrobes with bookcases. So it looks like a whole built-in unit that creates a very nice look. And then at the same time, if you want to create the illusion that the sim is very well off, instead of just adding one of the built-in cupboards, you could actually add multiple and make a whole wall of cupboards. This way, it really does look like your sim has a lot of clothes, a lot of fashion items that they have to pack away, and therefore they have multiple cupboards in their bedroom. So I have also added, this is custom content by the way, but even though it's under the light section, I've added it with the idea that it looks like a standing hair dryer that you would find in a hair salon, but I've added it here. This person has their own. So they definitely have things that other sims would need to go to community lots for. They own themselves. Yeah, and I think this would be a room that you would find, for instance, in the Goth Manor, or perhaps you could find this in Malcolm Landgraab's home. It kind of gives you that feeling and that idea. And here we are, we have a young mother with her 2 little boys. And I've also added some details to this room that looks like it could be designer bags and perhaps some designer boots that she has over there. It's neat, but it still looks lived in because of the small detail. Alright, so that would be another option. Then over here we have 2 other deco sims just to add some life to this bedroom and this space. So the idea here is that it's also a couple that have a little bit of money, I would say, at least a little bit more well off. And what I've done here is I've created a space where it looks like the lady of the house would be doing her makeup, and she would have a dressing table, some pictures on it, some beautiful flowers. So really an area where she would beautify herself if she wants to go out. A nice tall mirror, nice lamp, some pictures, and a very calming, luxurious looking space to relax and to sleep. And then we get to the closet area. So over here I've cornered it off with an arch. So it looks like it's a whole separate dressing room. And I added little details like the coat hanging at the front. This is a little bit small. We'll look at it from the top. So when you enter through the arch, you have a mirror. You have a built-in cupboard. You have a little reading area over here, or a bookshelf, and also some pictures on the wall. And it's also a very neat space, and it's separated from the room. I like this idea a lot because you just add that little extra something to, I mean, I could have just placed a built-in cupboard over here, but just by adding this arch and giving it a whole separate area, you just add that little bit extra. Then this is the room we looked at last time. We're not going to look at it in great detail, but the only thing that I should point out is when you're creating a room for a teenager possibly, or a child, it should reflect that. And a built-in cupboard is a great way to add some of the nice clutter pieces that you already get in the game, or even custom content, and it just tells a extra story about your sim. So that's very nice. Some other pointers that I have for you that you can add in your game, if you want to add closet space that's making your house a little bit more interesting, is you can add small everyday closets. So an entryway coat closet is a great idea. A tiny bedroom closet in a starter home is something that I haven't shown you here, but that's something that just adds to your character in your game. If someone is not well off, then you're not going to give them a huge cupboard full of luxurious items. A hallway linen closet. So you get a lot of custom content that looks like towels or folded sheets or things like that, and you could easily build a hallway linen closet for your sims. A cleaning supply closet with a vacuum cleaner and shelves. This could be in a garage, it could be in a kitchen area. You could have a separate area in your kitchen that's just for laundry and cleaning supplies, and it's easy to add a nice cupboard there with that. A pantry closet beside the kitchen is another option. A utility closet with towels and storage, that's something you can add as well. And then if you want to do walk-in closets, small walk-in closets for suburban homes is something you can add, or a luxury master walk-in with an island in the middle if you make an area where your sim can even sit and change their shoes, something like that, all inside the cupboard, walk-in cupboard. That could be very, very nice. You could add the vanity table inside of your walk-in cupboard with a whole makeup station there. Boutique style closet with clothing displayed like you would find it in a store. That's something that Dina would probably have, especially after marrying Mortimer. And then a walk-in with a reading chair and rug. So I already added a bookshelf in one of mine, but you could add a reading chair and a rug there. You could have his and hers divided closets, which would be very interesting. And then whenever you're creating for children, you could create a nursery closet with baby supplies in. You could create a toddler closet full of toy storage. A child's colorful closet with school items in is another option. Some teen fashion closets with posters and accessories. This is similar to what we did here. And if you brainstorm a little bit more, a sports theme closet for a boy could be very nice, or a girl. I mean, if someone likes sport and she's girly, that's an extra challenge that you could take on. Or a princess themed wardrobe for a little girl perhaps. And then creative spaces. There's also closets that can be converted into a tiny home office, so that could be a little story behind it. You could do a Harry Potter style closet under the stairs. You could also have a secret reading nook hidden behind wardrobe doors, a hidden gaming room behind a closet could be cute. A secret passage disguised as a wardrobe could be something interesting, especially in a big mansion where you don't expect it. Or a hidden safe room. And then if you want to go historic or you want to use rustic closets, a Victorian wardrobe room could be something, a farmhouse storage closet, depending on your story, cottage wardrobe with baskets in. If you're going medieval, you could have medieval clothing storage or a rustic cabin closet with wooden shelves. Let's say you have someone who's a woodcutter and they have a cabin they live in, then you could have a closet with wooden shelves in it. So that's then apartment-friendly closets, that's a good idea to use, would be an open wardrobe with some clothing racks in, or a sliding door closet is a good example for that. IKEA-inspired storage wall could be an option. A closet using half walls is something very different. A built-in wardrobe around the bed. And then some more luxury closet ideas that I have for you is, how about a celebrity dressing room if someone is a celebrity? A boutique fashion showroom. A shoe collector's dream closet. So there's a lot of custom content shoes that you can download to do this with. You could have a designer handbag display inside of a walk-in closet. You can have a jewelry room if you're making royalty, perhaps. Add some chandeliers to your closets. And then you get hobby closets. So think about stuff like a sewing closet, a craft supply closet, photography equipment storage, music instrument closet, a holiday decoration storage, gift wrapping station. That could be something interesting as well. And then seasonal storage. You can actually have areas where your Sims can keep Christmas decorations. This could be in a closet. Other seasonal costume closets, summer beach gear closet, winter clothing storage, camping equipment closet. So there's a lot of custom content if you don't want to use just what the game has to offer that you could bring this to life with. Then you could even have unusual closets. So something like an attic wardrobe or basement storage room, a wine closet, a vault-style valuables room would be another option, pet supply closet, and even a hidden plant room. Then when you are creating your character and building your houses, you can already start thinking about what type of closets you want to add. And this is something that I think most of us don't spend any time thinking of. We mostly just plop down a wardrobe in the corner, but there's actually so much that you can do by just brainstorming a little bit and thinking how you can make each Sim's home different. And a closet is a great way to do this because there's so many different ways that you could portray your Sim's personality and interests with this, and also their status. Would they live in a castle and have a closet that fits that? Would they be a celebrity? Or are they poor and they just have a tiny little closet with everything kind of piling out and lots of clutter and not a lot of space to put it? Or are they a minimalist and they have very little clutter and everything perhaps looks very stylish? So yeah, I hope I've given you guys some great ideas. This is an add-on to my last video where we took a detailed look at the teenage room and the teenage closet. And I hope that I've inspired you with some more ideas now. And go off and go build an amazing Sim home with amazing closet space that add to the character of your Sim. As always, happy Simming and be blessed. Goodbye.